Xianxia fell asleep inside the dragon pearl, and mysteriously, perfectly fused with the dragon pearl. When he woke up, he discovered that he had appeared on the dragon's mouth, and his dragon head had moved, facing the sky. Just as he was aware that something bad was about to happen, a surge of power gushed out from the dragon vein and pierced through the ground, forming a white light beam. Xianxia was sent flying into the sky by the power. God damn! Why did so many people come here? Xianxia arrived at a high place in the sky and saw that it was densely packed with people. He could not help but scold them. Let's go down first. Xianxia followed the white light and slowly descended. From a 1-meter wide hole, he stood between the 2 dragon horns on his dragon's head. Xianxia stood at the center of the dragon's horn and still felt that the 2 dragon horns were 2 strange-shaped huge mountains. With a light leap, he flew towards Tai Li, who was running over. The dragon fountain has truly been born. That was the signal the dragon fountain gave to the heavens and earth. Xianxia was their savior, and now they could easily dig out the spars. Xianxia nodded his head. The seal's power below has been removed, but we have to keep it on top. If not, someone will come in soon. So you can control the even more powerful barrier? Tai Li asked. The center of the evil dragon barrier is empty. If you guys get tired of staying down there, you can go up and take a breather at any time. If you want to leave, then we can act after the group of people outside has left. Tai Li shook his head. It's not like we won't migrate. You were able to gain the approval of the dragon vein and save us. Our Earth's core race will only serve you in the future. There were a large number of spar here, which was enough for Earth's core race to eat here for many years. Every time they moved, it was extremely dangerous, and many clan members would die along the way. Xianxia sighed and said, "All right then, I also need your help. In the future, we will be friends and help each other." Tai Li smiled and nodded. "Now we will establish a transmission array that will lead to the ground level, and let our clansmen go up to take a look." Xianxia said, "Clan leader Tai, can you help me build some houses on the top of the mountains?" "No problem, leave this to us. We are the ones doing these things the most. Our Earth's core race only wants spar for food. We will give you all the spar we mine for you. We will go straight for a portion of what we need," Tai Li said. Although it was an oral agreement, Xianxia trusted them a lot. What made Xianxia depressed was that the evil dragon graveyard was being watched by a group of people. "Then I'll leave first. I might come back later." Xianxia flew out from the hole that was pierced by the energy just now. This was enough to build a city here. From the outside and the high altitude, he could see that this place was surrounded by the body of a black dragon. But the sunlight was able to shine in and he could see the dark blue sky. However, the surroundings were surrounded by a black energy. Xianxia closed his eyes, allowing himself and the underground dragon vein to sense the light, and then he controlled the black mist to block out the sunlight. This was because the Earth's core race was afraid of the sunlight, so they could only come out at night to build a house. Xianxia stepped on the shrinking step and rushed into the black mist. He was unobstructed, and if it was anyone else, they would be bounced back the moment they touched the black mist, and if they were to come in contact with it from the outside, even if they didn't die, they would be heavily injured. "It's good that so many people have come. I'll let them know that this place has been taken over by the dragon subduing school." Xianxia calculated in his heart. He wanted to let the people guarding outside know of the existence of the dragon subduing school. With the real killing god, White Tiger, accompanying him, even the strongest dragon would be annihilated. He was still hoping that someone would make a move against the White Tiger, and at that time he would be able to enjoy the show. The demon empress, who originally wanted to leave, was no longer leaving. She no longer dared to have any ideas about the dragon fountain. That one strike just now had almost taken her life. Someone had appeared in the evil dragon graveyard, causing many big shots of great powers to lose their cool. They were worried that a new 10 Heavens Supreme Lord would be born. Who the hell is this guy? He had actually acquired the dragon fountain. Xianxia is such a pity. It's all White Sea Imperial lands and Feng clan's fault for chasing him to the 10 Heavenly Sacred Mountain. Their whereabouts are unknown. Duan Sanchong muttered. Didn't someone use a secret method to calculate that he was still alive? Those traitors are even more worried about being able to survive in the 10 Heavenly Holy Mountain. Duan Kong laughed. The 10 Heavenly Sacred Mountain was the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord's tomb. Many people thought that, if Xianxia could obtain the true inheritance from the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord, it would be the same as gaining the dragon's vein. Upon hearing Duan Kong's words, all the old fellows glared at him, wishing that they could annihilate the people from the Duan clan. Xianxia being attacked by the 10 Heavenly Holy Mountain is not a good thing at all. The green dragon demon-slain broadsword he controls is a huge threat to us. I hope he really tells the super martial school that he will not kill the innocent. As long as they were fiendish demons, there was no one who was not afraid of the divine blade that could slay demons. The demon empress can be at ease. I have come into contact with Xianxia before. He isn't an evil person. It's just that the evil person would provoke him and make him do many things that seem like he's guilty of. Furthermore, some of them used their sinister intentions to discredit Xianxia's image and killed him justifiably. Duan Kong sneered at the group of elders. No matter what, the green dragon demon-slain broadsword cannot fall into his hands. Of the ancient wasteland devil sect, Jiang Tianlu said while gnashing his teeth, this guy was lucky enough to soar, but in order to take revenge on Xianxia, he chose to stay behind. Let's talk about this 3 realms talk, the patriarch of the devil race said. Humph, 3 realms talk? In short, I warn all those who did not offend Xianxia for the time being, you all better not be dragged into the water by others. It's not like you all do not know the outcome of being retaliated against by this little demon. Ancient Wasteland Devil Sect and the Blood Wolf Demonic Clan are good examples. Duan Kong sneered. The Blood Wolf Monster Clan was in the most miserable state. All of their members with the purest bloodlines died because they had accidentally entered the 10 Heavenly Sacred Mountain to chase after Xianxia and killed him. Xianxia could hear the conversation outside from inside. Furthermore, the voices of the big figures were very loud, so much so that everyone in the world would want to hear it. What kind of background does the Demon Empress have? She seems to be injured. The little beauty's appearance is really pitiful. I really want to love her. Xianxia looked through the black mist and glanced at the spirit demon in the Demon Charming Association. He was standing at the edge of the evil dragon graveyard. Isn't your good brother over there? Use your god power to ask him. Long Shui said, as Duan Sanchong listened to the heads talking, who were filled with killing intent. A voice suddenly sounded out in his mind, causing him to stumble over his words. Changzi, then what is the background of the Demon Empress? Ask her if she's willing to lead the goblins behind her to be my slave? Xianxia really asked, for the Demon Empress and the Demon Charming Association's strongest spirit to be his female slaves. Duan Sanchong was scared silly. He was really worried that the Demon Empress would know about his sound transmission. At the same time, he was also anticipating the reaction the little Demon Empress would have when she heard him. She's so beautiful. She needs a butt, a chest, a face, and even a group of little beauties to follow her. Why does she look like she's injured? Xianxia said again. Duan Sanchong took a deep breath to calm himself down. Bastard. That's the Demon Charming Association's Demon Empress. Those who come down from the Heaven Realm, not to mention the Heaven Realm's Demon Empress, even the Demon Realm's little Demon Empress is extremely terrifying. Duan Sanchong hurriedly replied. Xianxia did not think so, and laughed. What's wrong with that? Ask her what's her name. Duan Sanchong snorted. If you want to know, ask yourself. No one here would dare to take liberties with the Demon Empress. Oh yeah, why aren't you dead yet? Do I look like someone who died casually? Xianxia laughed. You call that casual? After entering the 10 Heavenly Sacred Mountain, the Feng Clan's Son of Heaven and the Blood Wolf Demonic Clan's experts have all been wiped out. Duan Sanchong said snappily. The son of the Feng Clan's master deserves to die. The people who were chasing after me did not even have a good ending. Duan Sanchong suddenly looked around, following through the divine power that Xianxia had left in his mind. He used his divine sense to reply, Where are you? Why can't I see you? I'm in Evil Dragon Graveyard. Do you want to come in and take a look? Xianxia chuckled. What? in the evil dragon graveyard, so the thing that was shot out just now was you. Previously, he was regretting that Xianxia did not obtain the dragon's vein. But now, Xianxia was inside the evil dragon graveyard, and he was even safe and sound. What do you mean by shot out the thing that's me? Don't make it sound so bad. I am a future 10 heavens supreme lord. Xianxia said in a stinky voice. He realized that after staying with Long Shui for a while, his brain would occasionally go crazy. But you don't have the venerable one at all. Although Duan Sanchong said this, he was actually very happy in his heart. If Chun Xiang were to become a 10 heavens supreme lord in the future, then he might be able to become a general or something. Chun Xiang said, I'm not talking nonsense with you. I'm going to appear and scare them. Duan Sanchong still wanted to know how Chun Xiang managed to enter the evil dragon graveyard. However, Chun Xiang had already appeared, not with his original appearance, but with the appearance of a white tiger. Chun Xiang planned to pretend to be an expert with his white tiger's appearance. He wondered what kind of mood he would have if the white tiger knew that Chun Xiang had used his looks to trick him. Someone came out. Someone shouted with all his might. There was no need for him to shout. Many people had already seen it. Everyone, I wonder what business do you have in coming to my dragon-subduing school's territory? Chun Xiang said. The voice and appearance he used now was that of a white tiger. Dragon-subduing school? This is the territory of the dragon-subduing school, so the dragon fountain belongs to the dragon-subduing school? However, no one had ever heard of this dragon-subduing school, nor had they heard of it. What right did they have to have the entire dragon fountain? This caused many ancient powers to feel extremely unhappy, wishing that they could immediately smash this person to death. Hearing the words dragon-subduing school, everyone looked at each other and shook their heads. I am the great clan elder of the dragon-subduing school. If there is anything the leader has to do, I will be going out. He said that he has gone to the Yu Ming Deep Abyss. Chun Xiang said, there was a super old fire beast at the bottom of the Yu Ming Deep Abyss. Chun Xiang felt that these ancient powers should know of it. If you need anything, wait for leader to come back first. Long Shui snorted. The great clan elder is mine. The big white cat can at most be a little elder. Chun Xiang sent a sound transmission to Duan Sanchong, asking him to act together with him. He didn't feel any pressure to act in front of the younger generation, but now that he was in front of a lot of antiques, he was willing to go all out. Senior, do you know why your leader is going to the Yu Ming Deep Abyss? That is a land of great calamity. A few years ago, I passed by that place and discovered that there seemed to be a tomb there, but I didn't dare to go down. Duan Sanchong said, I am just curious, whose tomb is that, to actually have your esteemed sex leader go there? Even though no one in the dragon-subduing school had heard of this before, it was impressive enough that he was able to enter the evil dragon graveyard. Just now, the demon empress had only used her consciousness to check and she had nearly died. I don't mind telling you, because other than our leader, no one else can go to the bottom of the Yu Ming Deep Abyss. Chun Xiang laughed. There really is a tomb there. Maybe you know that a profound marital profound realm appeared not far from there. When Chun Xiang obtained the green dragon demon-slain broadsword from a profound realm, many people knew about it. Other than the vermilion bird profound realm, who did not appear, the other three profound realms also appeared, and Chun Xiang was involved. However, until now, everyone had only seen Chun Xiang use green dragon demon-slain broadsword S, and had never seen the divine black tortoise and white tiger divine weapon appear before. No one in the white tiger divine weapon knew about it. Profound wood diamond armor normally would not even come out of their bodies, of course no one would know. Moreover, many people only knew that the azure dragon divine weapon was a blade, and no one knew what the other three divine weapons were. Duan Sanchong inhaled a breath of cold air. Could it be that there is a black tortoise divine weapon in the Yu Ming Deep Abyss? No wonder the black tortoise divine weapon did not appear when the profound marital profound realm opened it. These words were all taught to Duan Sanchong by Chun Xiang, and now even Duan Sanchong was almost tricked. Although they could not confirm whether what Chun Xiang said was true or false, many people present had their suspicions. Some of them had decided to go to the Yu Ming Deep Abyss to take a look once the things here were settled. Everyone, if there's nothing else, Please leave. Xianxia cupped his hands to everyone. Go back? How could this be? This was a dragon vein. That was why 10 Heavens Supreme Lord was able to dominate the 9 heavens and the 10 earth because of this. Who wouldn't want to take over this dragon vein now? However, this dragon vein already had a master, and it seemed very powerful. Now that everyone had left, it wasn't as good as gone either. Elder of the Dragon Subduing School. I wonder if we can experience the glory of the evil dragon graveyard. We are very curious about it. An old man from the Feng clan laughed. Of course not. These words made everyone happy. But Xianxia then said, if everyone can resist the evil mist, then follow me. Everyone cursed in their hearts. If they had the ability to go in, they would have already killed their way in. Seeing Xianxia turning around and walking into the black mist, everyone panicked. One of them anxiously shouted, "Stop!" Xianxia did not stop and quickly walked into the black mist. However, he suddenly heard something. Everyone, please follow me. Whoever followed him in would be courting death. Is there a dragon vein inside? This was the voice of the Demon Empress, and upon seeing the Demon Empress speak, everyone was secretly happy, because they thought that the Demon Empress might have a way to take down the Dragon Subduing School. That's right, do you want it? This was discovered by our Dragon Subduing School, and we have built a sect inside, and begun to harvest spars. Xianxia did not come out from the black mist. Although he had transformed into the white tiger, he did not have the strength of the white tiger. This kind of thing has always been first come first served. I believe everyone should know about this rule. I believe that everyone here is here for the Dragon Meridian. Since the Dragon Meridian already has an owner, please go back. Xianxia's voice sounded out. Humph, this was nurtured by nature. It was bestowed to everyone by nature. What kind of Dragon Subduing School can you take over? The one who spoke was an elder of the Feng clan. Xianxia laughed. With our power to resist these evil beings, if you have the ability, you can come in mine. But according to you, another day, can our Dragon Subduing School also go to your mines to mine spars? We of the Demon Charming Association do not have any intention to fight. We just want to talk to the leader of your sect. I will go to you Ming Deep Abyss to find him. The Demon Empress said. That's right, our Flying Immortal School only wants to make friends with your sect. One more friend and one more power. We hope that he will be able to appear in our Three Realms talk. The Flying Immortal School said. Xianxia laughed. It's getting late. Everyone please go back. After he finished this sentence, he no longer spoke to these people. This Dragon Subduing School was very mysterious. Before she knew the exact strength of the poison, Snake would not foolishly do such a vicious thing, and she did not have any thoughts of seizing the dragon vein right now, because she knew that this evil dragon graveyard was very powerful, and she had only released her own soul consciousness, yet she had suffered such a heavy injury. Someone who could control the evil dragon graveyard might even be able to make the evil dragon graveyard release a huge amount of power. Who exactly is this leader of the Dragon Subduing School? If an evil person were to talk about the dragon vein, it would be a disaster. An old man said. After Duan Kong heard this, he laughed coldly. It was only a disaster if traitors like you obtained the dragon's vein. This Dragon Subduing School seems to have more of a conscience than you guys. Just now he could have lured us in and attacked us, but he didn't do so. You will never be able to obtain the dragon fountain in your lifetime. You traitors will get your retribution sooner or later. Xianxia slipped out from the other side and headed towards Pill City to look for Li Baojun. He wanted to see how Li Baojun was doing, and there were still a lot of people guarding outside the evil dragon graveyard. Some people returned to Pill City, and some people went to Chun Martial Continent to look for that Yuming Deep Abyss, to see if there were any more Black Tortoise divine weapons. It was said that it was the largest pill shop in the entire Pill City. Just the pill shop itself took up 2 sides of a street, and on both sides of the street were 3 to 4 floors with pavilions on 3 sides. Behind these pavilions were large amounts of medicinal plants growing in medicine gardens and the residences of many workers. Although this pill shop was very big and shocking, it did not have any competitive power. Because it was no longer the most popular place in the Pill City, it only made many people curious in the beginning. However, after that, no one cared about it. This pill shop had always had no name, but today it suddenly had a name. Moreover, this name was very shocking. Even the old people in the pill shop were shocked that this pill shop would actually be called Dragon Subduing Dan Hall. The evil dragon graveyard was occupied by the Dragon Subduing School, so many people knew about this matter. After all, there were many people present today, and now even the matter of the dragon's vein was known to many. Now that this pill shop was suddenly called the Dragon Subduing Dan Hall, they couldn't help but think about it. Dragon Subduing School restrained evil dragon graveyard and also took over the dragon vein. So the name, Subduing Dragon, didn't sound arrogant at all, because Dragon Subduing School had done it. Xianxia was now in the Dragon Subduing Dan Hall in a pavilion at the end of a street. Li Baojun was there. He was the pavilion master and even an elder of the Dragon Subduing School. He had bought this place and had used his outstanding alchemy skills to recruit some of the alchemists to concoct pills, in order to thank him for the longevity fruit that Xianxia had gifted to him. Li Baojun had even contributed a lot of spirit medicine to concoct pills, and inside the Dragon Subduing Dan Hall, there were many rare pills that Li Baojun had brought out. Hee. I knew you had a way to improve your business. I hope no one comes to cause trouble, or else I'll slap them to death. Li Baojun stood on the Dragon Subduing Dan Hall and looked at the lively shops on both sides of the street, his face full of smiles. Xianxia could not just let Li Baojun maintain the Dragon Subduing Dan Hall. He himself had to contribute a lot as well. Furthermore, it was not difficult for him at all. Elder Li, send someone to investigate the prices and quantity of the Zhuji Dan in the elixir shop in Pill City. I have quite a few Zhuji Dan with me, Xianxia said. He planned to go into closed-door training for a period of time to get a few more precious medicines that would be popular and attract a lot of people over. He would not release a lot of them with his surname, as he would have a method to sell them at a very high price, which would attract a lot of people and at the same time make a lot of money. Investigate? I didn't think about it. I'm going to get someone to do it now, Li Baojun said. Xianxia thought for a while, then laughed. I have a suitable candidate. I will look for him myself. He took out a pill and handed it over to Li Baojun, saying, This is a high-quality Eternal Dan. Prepare to auction it here. We need to make this remote area more lively, and make the lively area in Pill City more deserted. Middle heaven level pill, Eternal Dan, its quality is very good, and it also has a bit of immortal energy. It should be made by a deity. Although there are a lot of Dan King in Dan City, the number of people who can refine Eternal Dan are probably not many, and can be counted on one's fingers. Li Baojun laughed. Leave this matter to me. Just then, Li Baojun and Xianxia saw many old fellows bringing some young handsome men and women to the corner of the street. They were chatting and laughing as they walked over. Looks like there's no need to plan anymore. This bunch of fellows are probably here to cause trouble. However, no one will go against the pills, Li Baojun laughed sinisterly. Xianxia had already known from the beginning that Li Tianjun was a sinister fellow, so his disciple was naturally no exception. However, Xianxia and Li Baojun were not worried at all. The moment they saw this group of people, they already knew that they had a way to deal with them. Elder Li, this is a live auction. I will compete with these guys later. No matter what, I can't sell these Eternal Dan to them. Xianxia lowered his voice. I think that the Demon Empress of the Demon Charming Association might buy it. The Demon Empress tested the waters of the evil dragon graveyard and found that she was heavily injured. Although her complexion looked good, her injuries were severe and Xianxia could feel it. Xianxia quietly left and blended into the crowd of spectators, preparing to join hands with Li Baojun to make the Dragon Subduing Dan Hall even more famous. Welcome to our side. Li Baojun laughed loudly above the pavilion. There were more than 200 people that had come: the Feng Clan, White Sea Imperial Land, Qin Family, Peach Blossom Imperial Land, and the other ancient powers were still walking ahead aggressively. Since the people from Devil Realm and the Demon Realm did not come, they did not dare to walk around the place where there were more people. Just as an elder of the Feng Clan was about to inquire about the Dragon Subduing School, he heard Li Baojun laugh and say, It's rare for you all to be here. In order to welcome me, I will take out the Eternal Dan that I just refined and start the auction. How about it? Eternal Dan. Hearing the name of this pill, Many people immediately looked at how many spars they had and did not have the time to ask the Dragon Subduing School about it. Although they did not need any Eternal Dan right now, they could still use this pill for future uses, and the healing speed of this pill was much faster than the Relive Dans, and it even contained a large amount of energy. Although Dan City was a group of Dan King, Eternal Dan rarely appeared, and there were not many that could be refined. Since Li Baojun was able to take it out now, it meant that this dragon subduing Dan Hall had a very powerful Dan King. Dan King S who could refine mid-grade heaven-level pills had a high level of wealth. Their pill refining level far exceeded those rookie Dan King S who could only refine low-grade heaven-level S. Originally, many of the Dan King S who wanted to cause trouble had their heads lowered because they knew that Dan King had strength that far surpassed them. If they came here to create a scene, they would only smash their own toes. Seeing everyone's expressions, Li Baojun secretly laughed. He was very satisfied with the result. He was also curious in his heart where Xianxia obtained the Eternal Dan. Pavilion Master Li, what is the quality of your Eternal Dan? Her deep purple-colored dress was extremely dazzling amongst the crowd, and coupled with her peerlessly beautiful face, of the girls in the crowd, only Yao Shumi and Mu Jialan, the mother and daughter, could stand shoulder to shoulder with her. Good quality, Li Baojun thought. The strength of this demon empress made him very uncomfortable. Even though she was injured, even though she was a delicate woman, the dense demonic energy in her body was extremely terrifying. However, Li Baojun knew that the person Xianxia wanted to trap was the demon empress who came from the heaven realm. It was said that she was also one of the leaders of a large force in the sky demon realm. Although the demon empress was present, many of the giants of the ancient powers were unwilling to be outdone. They had at least inherited it for many years, and compared to their ancient inheritance, the demon empress was basically just a little girl. Since it's of high quality, I bid 300 billion spar. The demon empress said lightly. Everyone cursed in their hearts. If the demon empress had gone to the heaven realm, then this 300 billion would be more than enough to purchase a Eternal Dan. In the mortal realm, pills were much more expensive than those in the sacred Dan realm and the heaven realm. Because the medicinal resources in the mortal realm were much more scarce, it was difficult for everyone to understand why the demon empress did not directly return to the heaven realm to purchase pills, but instead snatched pills from them here. I bid 350 billion, Xianxia said calmly. He knew the reason why the little demon empress wanted to buy the Eternal Dan was because the Eternal Dan was of high quality. This kind of quality was rarely seen even in the heaven realm, and it was extremely difficult to concoct pills with demons, so they would not let go if there was a chance to. Xianxia also thought of another reason, which was that even if they used pills to refine pills, especially for the heaven realm rankers, pills were the best. If they could gather a lot of high-quality heaven-level pills, they could let the Dan Immortal refine them into higher-ranked pills, or even concoct immortal pills. 330 billion, an old man shouted. To these ancient powers, hundreds of billions of spar were no problem. They had been in their heritage for many years and had mined many sparite vein. Someone was arguing with the demon empress, so Xianxia didn't need to personally do anything. He just watched quietly from the side, while Li Baojun also arranged for some people to spread the news, letting the Alchemist in Pill City know that the Eternal Dan were being auctioned here. Even if this place became remote in the future, Dragon Subduing Dan Hall would still be very lively. The competition at the scene was extremely intense, and the only person who could continue to hold on was the little demon empress. She offered a very high price, and every increase was very brutal, forcing many old fellows to retreat. 900 billion. It was said that the Demon Charming Association occupied many large mines in the demon realm. It was said that there weren't many resources in the demon realm and they were all concentrated in some places. It was just that they were all occupied by the Demon Charming Association. The scene was completely silent. Eternal Dan was indeed very valuable, but if they were to continue fighting, many of the powers would not be able to accept it. If it was in the Sacred Dan realm or Immortal world, it would at most be 200 to 300 billion. Just as the Demon Empress thought that no one could compete with her, Xianxia shouted calmly, 90-10 billion. The Demon Empress turned her head to look at Xianxia. She remembered that the first person to bid with her was this guy, and then he disappeared. This auction is being held on the spot. It makes people suspect that you were specially arranged by the dragon subduing Dan Hall. Isn't that a scam? The little demon empress expression was calm, and her voice was gentle, but it carried a hint of dissatisfaction. At this moment, everyone was looking at Li Baojun. Xianxia had changed his appearance before, and he looked very ordinary, not like a rich person. However, looking at the calmness on which he increased the price, it should be something. Xianxia smiled slightly. Demon Empress, are you looking down on me? Don't think that just because you came down from the heaven realm that you are impressive. I am not looking down on you. I am merely suspecting you in a very normal manner. It is likely that many people here are thinking the same thing. The Demon Empress said, you have to take out some proof, or else the dragon subduing Dan Hall will send someone to help you raise the price. Even if you bought it, you wouldn't need to pay the spar. Xianxia was still smiling slightly. Is the little Demon Empress unable to afford the Eternal Dan? Since you want the evidence, I'll show it to you. Then, he took out a longevity fruit and held it up high. Seeing the longevity fruit that was raised up high, everyone on the street was stunned like they were stone statues. Was this the longevity fruit that caused an uproar in Dan City? This was a genuine immortal fruit, and one of them could concoct an immortal pill. Many people wished they could cut off Xianxia's hand and take it away with the longevity fruit. Li Baojun sucked in a small breath. He had only heard of longevity fruit, but didn't know that the longevity fruit grew up to be like this. Xianxia actually had two. Compared to longevity fruit, Eternal Dan was like a grain of rice or a mountain. How could a person with a longevity fruit not be able to afford it? Everyone was sure that this was the person who issued the bounty order a while ago to ask for other people's help in refining pills. They had looked for him with much difficulty, especially the people from the Feng clan. Reading net right now, there were a lot of people who wanted to capture Xianxia, but no one dared to make a move. Since the other party dared to casually bring out the longevity fruit, they must have some skills. No one wanted to be the leader. Now, no one dared to say that they were the strongest in this area. Even the Demon Empress, who was extremely powerful, had suffered a great loss in the evil dragon graveyard. Demon Empress, I have 10 or so face-preserving pills here, all of them high-quality ones from the ground level. If you need them, I can sell them to you right now. Xianxia chuckled. No need. He could buy the face-preserving pill in the heaven realm. Li Baojun deliberately coughed twice and said, 90 billion. Is there anyone else who wants to increase the bid? After Li Baojun finished speaking, he purposely paused for a bit longer. The little Demon Empress clenched her teeth and shouted, 95 billion. Xianxia did not add anything else. He felt that it was worth it to sell a Eternal Dan at this price. At the same time, it could allow Dragon Subduing School to own up to 1 trillion spar as a resource for development. Looks like this Demon Empress has many enemies in the heaven realm. She was injured here and she wants to rest here before going up, in case she gets chased by the enemy and is unable to retaliate. Su Meiyao guessed that if she was the one doing the same, she would also think of a way to recover from her injuries before going up. Many people thought of this and were secretly amazed at the terror of the evil dragon graveyard. The little Demon Empress had only used her power to investigate for a bit, but she was already hit by such a serious counterattack. Xianxia quickly left the street, getting rid of the people following him. He believed that it wouldn't be long before the place became even more lively. Li Baojun had the 95 billion spar as his foundation, making it convenient for him to purchase large amounts of medicinal ingredients and recruit Alchemist. Xianxia had even secretly sent a message to the Dan Fragrance Pure Land to cooperate with him and provide him with medicine as much as possible. In any case, the medicine shop business of the Dan Fragrance Pure Land here was only average. When Dan Fragrance Pure Land receives Xianxia's message, he will do so because the communication method Xianxia uses is only available to Dan Fragrance Pure Land S. This is equivalent to being an order from leader. Xianxia came to the city of the king. It was the oldest city in the continent of the king, so it was very cheap to go to Pill City from here. The city of the king was also considered to be one of the larger cities in the south. Xianxia had come here to find Lan Lan and Yen Ran, and at that time, Xianxia had invited them to join the Dragon Subduing School. At first, Beast Martial School was evenly matched with Super Martial School. However, because of the appearance of Huang Jintian, Super Martial School became more and more powerful, and left many sects in Chun Martial Continent far behind. The Beast Martial School did not have a lot of businesses here, and only had a store that specialized in selling beasts. Chun Xiang had heard Yen Yenran say that she was the owner of this shop before, and that she had used her own spar to support this shop. It had nothing to do with the Beast Martial School anymore. This shop was a little deserted, because there were too many of these shops. If Yen Yenran was not a famous beauty, she would not have been able to manage this shop a long time ago. And Lan Lan's potential were both pretty good, and they could be trusted. They had once lived together for a period of time. Yen Yenran, your shop has expired. If you want to continue running your shop, you have to hand in your spar. A man shouted sinisterly, his eyes carrying a hint of evil, making Yen Yenran very angry. Even though Yen Yenran was wearing a simple yellow dress, she was as charming as ever. Her temperament was not affected in the slightest by the cheap clothes. Chun Xiang stood at the entrance of the shop, and upon seeing this scene, he slightly frowned. As I said before, this shop belongs to me forever. There is no such thing as not expiring and expiring. I also pay taxes every year on time. Do you come here every 2 or 3 days to cause trouble for me? Do you think I don't know what your intentions are? Yen Yenran said coldly. Humph, it's true that you bought this land, but you didn't. The sky above this land is always the sky, and the flying beasts you tamed often flew above it. It can be considered as you taking over the sky. That would be a total of 1 billion spar for 1 year. The golden-robed man said. 1 billion spar for a year. You're not going to snatch it from me like that. Yen Yenran was enraged. Her 10 jade fingers suddenly revealed sharp claws, like a cat's claws. You dare to attack me? Heh. Don't you see how many people I've brought? The golden-robed man laughed heartily and then shouted out, Someone, arrest this woman and try to attack me. Yes, my lord, an armored soldier shouted, and then brought a few people to walk towards Yen Yenran. Chun Xiang didn't know why he was bullied like that when he was doing so badly. He guessed that Yen Yenran must be on bad terms with the Beast Martial School. Maybe he had already been expelled, but wasn't she on good terms with Lan Lan? No power in the continent of the king would dare to bully a blue blood race that relied on Lan Lan. Hey! Can't you see the people from City Lord's mansion are here on official business? Get out of here. The golden-robed man was extremely arrogant, shouting at Chun Xiang. When Chun Xiang stepped into the shop, he released his god power and controlled the door to close up. You! When he saw Chun Xiang's expression, he knew that Chun Xiang was rushing towards him. Chun Xiang extended his hand and summoned several of them. At the same time, he grabbed towards the few soldiers that were near to Yen Yenran. Like sharp blades, they instantly pierced through the hard armor on their bodies and left behind bloody holes. Chun Xiang swung his power and threw these people out from the roof. The golden-robed man's face was filled with anger. His arrogance remained. Just as he was about to speak, Chun Xiang interrupted him. Don't tell me who your father is. It will only make you get beaten up even more. As he spoke, Chun Xiang slapped out his palm. Even though he was still quite a few steps away from the golden-robed man, he struck out with his palm, accurately hitting the man's face. The man screamed and flew to a cabinet. His face was no longer the same as before, and he was slapped hard by Chun Xiang using his devil-subduing method. Yenran, who is this guy? Chun Xiang asked. Yen Yenran originally did not know who the person who saved him was, but she quickly guessed that this was the Chun Xiang rumored to have unknown life and death within the 10 heavenly sacred mountain. She had heard about the matter of the dragon subduing school a few days ago and even occupied one of the dragon veins. At that time, she had even suspected that the dragon subduing school was not the one Chun Xiang had established. Now that Chun Xiang had appeared in front of her, she was convinced that the dragon subduing school inside the evil dragon graveyard was definitely established by him. A son of the city lord. Yen Yenran heaved a sigh of relief. She had originally planned to kill this guy and leave. Releasing his divine power, Chun Xiang quickly found the city lord's mansion within the city. After that, he faced the direction of the city lord's mansion and brought up the golden-robed man. Humph! Xianxiang's snort was like thunder, producing an extremely strong impact. The golden-robed man was struck and sent flying by the powerful impact, flying straight towards the city lord's mansion, through many buildings along the way, and finally smashing into city lord's mansion's door plaque. Boom! Pack up! Come with me to find Sister Blue, Xianxia said. Yan Yanran looked at Xianxia with her alluring eyes, her face revealing a smile, but her face quickly darkened. Something has happened to Lan Lan. I don't know where she is right now. The matter between Lan Lan and I is a long story. Yan Yanran roared. He called back many birds and beasts and stored them in the profound beast bag. Then he cleaned up a little and followed Xianxia out of the shop. Just as they stepped out of the shop, they saw a large group of people surrounding them. All of them were dressed in armor and were extremely powerful, so it was obvious that they were from City Lord's mansion. After that, a luxurious carriage slowly drove over. Yan Yanran suddenly held Xianxiang's hand tightly and said softly, "City Lord is here. City of the King is no longer controlled by the human emperor. You must be careful." Was surprised that the city of the king was not controlled by the human king himself. However, he was not worried about the city lord, as he had only endured 4 or 5 nirvana tribulations and was not a threat to him at all. "You were the one who injured my son?" The city lord sat in the carriage and asked indifferently. His voice carried a trace of anger. Looking at him, it looked as though he could kill Xianxia with a slap. "That's right, you don't have to thank me for sparing your life. The reason why I beat him at City Lord's mansion's doorstep is to lure you out," Xianxia said indifferently. "Impudent. Take him down." Although his strength could not be considered to be at the top, but if one relied on relations, many experts would still give him face. Xianxia sneered. He opened up both of his arms and released a low grunt. The people rushing towards him were suddenly blocked by something, and it was as though they had struck a sturdy wall. "This group of punks, don't hinder me. Get lost," Xianxia bellowed. A gust of wind surged out from his mouth, transforming into a golden dragon that bared its fangs and brandished its claws, enveloping the soldiers in an earth-shattering manner. "How dare you resist in front of me?" City Lord bellowed. He controlled the carriage and rushed towards Xianxia. "I am the City Lord of the City of the King. You have resisted me and made many other powers of the City of the King your enemy. You do not know what's good for you." When the carriage arrived, the City Lord let out a wave of cold sneers. Yan Yanran was not the least bit worried about Xianxia. Someone who could survive the 10 heavenly sacred mountain definitely did not need to worry about her. The strong and sturdy horses crashed against a transparent wall, with their heads bleeding from the impact. If not for the city lord using his innate chi to stabilize the carriage would have fallen apart. "You are courting death. I was just worried that you would not have anything for me to train with." A gold light suddenly shot out from between Xianxia's eyebrows. The dense divine power suddenly surged out. Following that, his body ignited in flames, which flew out from his body and turned into a fire dragon, flying towards the carriage. City Lord was shocked, because he realized that he was inside a seal and that there were invisible walls all around him. He could not even release his power, and he suddenly realized that the person in front of him was very strong, and he even had a strange technique. The flames released by Xianxia had wrapped up the carriage, turning it into a ball of fire, floating in mid-air and burning it, while the city lord inside was wailing frantically. If one looked carefully, they would see that the scene was similar to that of the Alchemist. That's right, Xianxia was using the heavenly alchemy. The heavenly alchemy could refine all living things in the world, and naturally it also included people. Of course, Xianxia did not want to refine people into pellets right now. He did not have that kind of ability. The big battle that had happened here had alarmed many people, and it was the city lord himself who had come out to fight. However, when many experts arrived, they saw the strange scene in the sky. A huge ball of flame was floating in the sky, burning fiercely like a medicinal herb in a furnace. The magic method furnace that Xianxia had released was extremely huge. It could hold a horse carriage. His flames were extremely terrifying, and for people with similar strength as him, It was difficult for them to resist the heaven fire that he summoned with all his strength. In just a few moves, City Lord was already severely injured. These things in the carriage were all impurities and were quickly melted away. The innate chi and the flesh within the City Lord gradually separated. The refined innate chi turned into a ball of white mist and rose to the top of the pill furnace, while the flesh also turned into white ash that contained pure energy, fusing with the innate chi. Xianxia never thought that it would actually be possible to refine a person into a pill, but he still felt that he was missing something, and controlling it was also very difficult. Xianxia's gigantic pill furnace had exploded. This was the explosion of a Nirvana stage expert. Its power was boundless and many shops were affected. If not for the magic method furnace blocking it, countless of deaths would have been caused. City of the King was immediately shaken. The center area was shrouded in a layer of dense innate chi energy. It was completely filled with white mist, and a large group of experts rushed over. Hurry up! Xianxia pulled Yanran, stepped on the shrinking step, and disappeared in the smoke. Yanran had seen Xianxia use magic method furnace to refine pills. Even if she was not proficient in pill refining, she could tell that Xianxia had treated the City Lord as a pill and had almost succeeded. However, she was still unable to control herself in the end and caused the furnace to explode. This caused her heart to be filled with shock. She did not expect that Xianxia had actually mastered the heaven-defying ability of refining living people into pills. If this were to spread out, he would definitely be hunted down by the different realms, because this was something that the heavens could not tolerate. Xianxia originally only planned to refine that guy to death. But then he suddenly felt that he could succeed, and then he tried it. Who knew that it would work, and it was just that he was worried about being discovered, so he didn't have the heart to continue, and in the end caused an explosion. Xianxia and Yanran were still in the City of the King, so they were hiding in the most secluded area. City Lord was killed, causing a sensation in the entire city. Even the surrounding cities were shocked. City Lord's strength was not considered strong, but the power behind the City Lord was strong. It was equivalent to provoking a superpower. Yanran, what happened? Xianxia caressed Yanran's mature and charming cheeks. Yanran and Xianxia were hiding in a very old house, sitting on a stone table. She sighed lightly. I have been expelled by the Beast Martial School, and without the protection of the Beast Martial School, even with my current strength, I can only swallow my anger. Don't we still have Sister Lan? With your relationship with her, she can make blue blood race protect you. Frowned, previously Yanran said that something had happened to Lan, and he prayed that nothing big would happen to Lan. A year ago, when flying Immortal School's youngest son, Wu Jingsheng, came to City of the King, he took a fancy to Lan and entangled him in every way possible. In the end, he even used an extremely despicable method to drug Lan. Then, she came to me and joined hands with me to cripple Wu Jingsheng. Xianxia sensed Yanran's aura and discovered that Yanran was actually in the Nirvana realm. Yanran continued, after crippling Wu Jingsheng, both Lan and I were captured, and at that time, I was kicked out of Beast Martial School. So Beast Martial School didn't want to offend Flying Immortal School. That old fellow from the blue blood race came out and asked for Lan back, but I was still imprisoned in the Flying Immortal School. Leader of the Flying Immortal School forced Lan to marry Wu Jingsheng, or else he would kill me. Lan felt that this matter was caused by her, so she agreed. She went to Flying Immortal School a year ago and decided to get married the moment Wu Jingsheng recovered from his injuries. Xianxia raised his eyebrows. Didn't Sister Lan's grandfather love her a lot? Why don't you help her get you back? And when Lan was drugged, her grandfather did not help. Her grandfather had gone into closed-door training, and those old fellows usually hated Lan. They all wanted him to marry out as soon as possible, and Lan had even said that the matter of the forced marriage was related to those old fellows. I was going to look for you, but you've been having a lot of big things these days. Yanran suddenly grabbed Xianxia's hand. With tears in her beautiful eyes, she said, Xianxia, you cannot let Lan marry that guy. I beg you. Xianxia used his thumb to wipe away the tears on her face, and nodded. You are all from the Dragon Subduing School. How can I, the leader, sit idly by and do nothing. I will definitely save her. Let's do it now. I have a grudge with Flying Immortal School. Yen Yenran dried his eyes and revealed a charming smile to Xianxia. Something big happened in the city of the king. It alarmed the Flying Immortal School, and they sent many people to find Yen Yenran, who was together with Xianxia. It was extremely safe. Yenran, I will go to Flying Immortal School by myself. I will bring you to the dragon-subduing Dan Hall at Pill City. You will be very safe there, Xianxia said. Yen Yenran now completely listened to Xianxia's arrangements. Previously, she was already extremely worried that something would happen to Xianxia inside the 10 Heavenly Sacred Mountain, but now that Xianxia was able to return and make the dragon-subduing school into an unfathomable sect, she was very happy in her heart. Xianxia brought Yen Yenran to the dragon-subduing Dan Hall in Pill City and even arranged for Yen Yenran to do some things. For example, he wanted to investigate the sales situation and prices of the other large medicine stores. At this time, a piece of bad news came. It was that Lan Lan of the Blue Blood Race and Wu Jingsheng of the Flying Immortal School were preparing to hold a big wedding at the Flying Immortal School, inviting many famous clans and aristocrats here. It was said that most of the ancient powers in the south had been invited. The Flying Immortal School was originally hidden deep in the ancient mountains, but now the entire vicinity of the mountain gate was filled with cities. Xianxia followed a group of people and used the transmission array to teleport to the Flying Immortal City. Xianxia knew from Yen Yenran that the authority over City of the King was something that the Divine Martial Palace sold to him. Martial families and Blue Blood Race normally did not bother with these matters, so he did not object, allowing the power of the Flying Immortal School to grow. He only worried that he would be besieged by a group of rankers in the Flying Immortal School. One must know that there were a lot of people who came to attend the Flying Immortal School's grand wedding, and there were even some immortals who would definitely not allow such things to happen in the Flying Immortal School. Furthermore, the Flying Immortal School itself did not allow such things to happen. Furthermore, Yen Yenran had been saved by an expert. They knew of the relationship between Yen Yenran and Lan Lan. If Yen Yenran sent that expert to save Lan Lan, it would be a very normal thing. In order to allow Lan Lan to marry out successfully, the Blue Blood Race had brought along many strong experts. Now, even the Flying Immortal City was very strict, and the disciples of the Flying Immortal School could often be seen passing by on the streets. Standing on the towers in the Flying Immortal School, one could see that in the distance, there was a mountain covered by clouds and mist. The Flying Immortal School's base was on the summit of this mountain, and it was not long ago either. And in the forests near this mountain, all of them were disciples of the Flying Immortal School. Those who were not invited could not enter this forest, otherwise they would definitely be apprehended. At this time, only people with status passed through the gates to the mountain forest. They were invited by the Flying Immortal School to participate in the wedding, and Xianxia discovered a few strong old fellows. Many people stood there and watched as the others went to attend the wedding. At the same time, they also wanted to see the glory of the disciples of the famous sects. Xianxia suddenly sensed a very familiar aura, and if he was not very meticulous in his senses, he might not have noticed it. Xianxia immediately looked at a middle-aged man among the crowd. This middle-aged man had a mustache that had been cut in two, and his expression was sluggish. Xianxia walked over, patted the middle-aged man's shoulders, and then said with sound transmission, "Intestine, what are you doing here?" Seeing that Xianxia had turned into a refined scholar, he secretly cursed in his heart and replied, "Xianxia, why is it that you discover me first every time?" Xianxia laughed. "If you had discovered me, I would not have lived past today. Last time, I said that I would dig out the ancestors' grave of Flying Immortal School. This time, I think it's a chance for them to get married." Duan Sanchong whispered to Xianxia. The corner of Xianxia's mouth twitched. To think that this fellow would take the chance to dig up someone's ancestral grave after someone else's wedding. However, this was a good thing. If on the same day, Flying Immortal School's wedding was destroyed and his ancestral grave dug out by someone, Flying Immortal School would definitely die from laughter. To an ancient power, this would be an enormous humiliation. Duan Sanchong brought Xianxia to the place where he was staying. It was a very cheap house. Duan Sanchong also told Xianxia that he often came to the vicinity of the Flying Immortal School to investigate the condition of the Flying Immortal School's ancestral grave, so that he could easily make a move. Brat, what are you doing here? Did he want to destroy it? I advise you not to. Flying Immortal School and Blue Blood Race have teamed up, and there are still many distinguished guests present. You won't have the chance. It's better if you come with me to steal the tomb. After my investigation, the vigilance towards the ancestral tomb has relaxed a lot. The old man guarding the tomb has been arranged to go to protect the wedding, Duan Sanchong said. He had long wanted to pull Chun Xiang into the Duan clan and nurture him into an outstanding grave robber. I'm going to save someone. That Lan Lan is an elder of my dragon subduing school. She forced me to marry her. As her leader, I cannot sit idly by. Chun Xiang's voice was stern. What? That means you were the one who saved the 9 lives demon cat in City of the King? Kill the city lord? Duan Sanchong asked in surprise. 9 lives demon cat? You are talking about Yen Yenran. She is also an elder of my dragon subduing school. What do you think? Duan Sanchong could not calm himself down and said, This 9 lives demon cat does not have a small background. Many people have their eyes on her. It is said that it was given to the son of the city lord, but because of how Lan Lan feels, the son of the city lord does not dare to be too unyielding. 9 lives demon cat? Chun Xiang knew that Yen Yenran was just like a cat when it fought. His movements were agile and had strong claws. She was actually a mutated beast. It is said that she had 9 lives and her body resembled that of a cat's. Brother Shin, you've picked up a treasure. Alright, how did you get into a fight with Lan Lan and the cat demon? I said you were already someone with a wife, but you're still so dishonest. Duan Sanchong was very jealous. Chun Xiang rolled her eyes at him. Don't spout nonsense. Yenran is my good friend. Lan Lan is equivalent to my sister. It was only after they joined me that I thought of the name Dragon Subduing School. There are only 2 days left before our wedding. What do you plan to do? Duan Sanchong asked. What, only 2 days? Didn't you say that there are still 7 or 8 days left? Chun Xiang was shocked. They were worried that an accident might happen, so they moved ahead. Chun Xiang stood up and said, I want to go in now, what about you? Naturally, I'm going to dig their tomb. If possible, you'd better help me create a big commotion. If the person guarding the tomb is lured away, it'll be easier for me to take action. Duan Sanchong laughed. Then Yao Shumi and Mu Jialan from Peach Blossom Imperial Land came to find me. This mother and daughter pair have been looking for you for a long time. It seems like they want to befriend you. Hee, this is a mother and daughter pair of flowers. Cough, cough. Can you not think of me as so evil? If you meet them, tell them and I'll talk to them sometime. After Chun Xiang and Duan Sanchong finished talking, he asked Long Shui to use the Heaven Tour method to look for Lan Lan inside the Flying Immortal School. Duan Sanchong and Chun Xiang said their goodbyes as he had to make some preparations for robbing the tomb. Waiting until the night, Chun Xiang turned into a butterfly and flew into the deep forest. Although it was already late at night, the deep forest was still heavily guarded. This Flying Immortal School was an ancient power with a lot of disciples. The entire Flying Immortal Mountain was guarded by a large number of Flying Immortal School disciples. The spirit energy in the forest was extremely dense, and it was normal for there to be a few small birds flying here and there. The Flying Immortal School was built on top of a mountain, and from afar, it looked like a grand heavenly palace floating in the clouds. There were tens of thousands of buildings and countless courtyards within this huge palace. It was as if the stars could be picked at any time in the night sky. The moonlight shone on the buildings and the immortal atmosphere intensified. At this time, the Flying Immortal School's gate was completely red, and there were many disciples working nervously, still busy with preparations for the grand marriage. She is inside a 5-story tall building. However, this building is sealed by a very strong spirit formation. It is difficult to enter, and it is also very difficult to exit. Long Shui said. Lan Lan had an innate ability to make herself invisible. If she did not have a protective barrier, escaping would not be a problem at all, and when she was invisible, it would be difficult for others to detect her. So even after the wedding, she would still be imprisoned. That's why Yen Yenran begged Xianxiang to save Lan Lan. Lan Lan stood in front of the window and pouted his lips slightly. She was still a 15 or 16-year-old girl, cute and beautiful, wearing a blue dress. Her watery big eyes were shining with a blue glow. She was currently in a bad mood. She rolled the ends of her hair with her fingers and raised her head to look at the beautiful full moon. She wished that she could fly up there so that flying Immortal School and the rest could never find her. Xianxiang flew into the flying Immortal School and turned into the appearance of a bird. On a big tree outside the tower, he observed the situation of the tower, and when he saw Lan Lan's appearance, he could not help but feel his heart ache. Reaching here, Xianxiang already had a plan, which was to find the flying Immortal School's youngest son, Wu Jingsheng. Then, he changed into Wu Jingsheng's appearance and brought him away. If you don't see her, hurry up and get lost. Lan Lan turned his head towards the door and shouted, "If you piss me off, I'll let you guys see my death. If my grandfather comes out of seclusion and finds out what happened to me, even if my grandfather risked his life, he would still annihilate your flying Immortal School." Her grandfather's position in the blue blood race was not low. He was strong, and if she committed suicide, that old fellow would definitely go crazy after he came out from closed-door cultivation. Humph, in 2 days I'm gonna pay my respects. If you don't behave yourself, I'll kill that cat demon. Think about it clearly. A voice came from outside the door. Xianxiang guessed that it was Wu Jingsheng. Lan Lan didn't know that Yen Yenran had been saved by Xianxiang, and that she was practically isolated from the world. Yet the flying Immortal School was still using this matter to threaten her. The relationship between Lan Lan and Lan Lan was really good. If not, she wouldn't be threatened like that. This tower had 5 floors. Lan Lan was on the 3rd floor, and the 2 floors below and above were filled with many experts. The entire tower was also covered by a powerful barrier, and 2 elders guarded the entrance of the tower. Wu Jingsheng came out. It was a man who looked too drunk. His face was pale. As the son of the flying Immortal School, he had a good face. He had come alone. Xianxiang memorized Wu Jingsheng's appearance and every single action he took. Only after he walked a distance away did he turn into Wu Jingsheng and walk back into the tower. "Little Gongzi, why are you back? Are you in a hurry to eat that little girl?" An old man saw that Wu Jingsheng had returned and laughed. Then, she opened the barrier and let Xianxiang in. "I'm going to screw her up in the next 2 days, so she won't look like she's going to make a fool of herself," Xianxiang said. He walked in, went up the stairs and arrived at the 3rd floor. Behind him followed an old man. Xianxiang lightly knocked on the door, only to hear Lan Lan shouting, "Get out of here. I want to have some peace and quiet." Xianxiang laughed and signaled an elder who was following him to open the door. Xianxiang was unable to open the door because there was the force of the barrier. Seeing the door open, and the Wu Jingsheng she hated the most, Lan Lan shouted, "Don't come over, if not I will." Lan Lan wanted to kill herself, but she was also worried about Yen Yenran, so she could only bear with it. "Sister Blue, it's me. I've become that guy's face." Xianxiang's expression did not change at all as he sent a sound transmission to Lan Lan. Then, he waved to the old man beside him, signaling him to leave. The old man retreated and closed the door. Lan Lan stood there dumbly, his face filled with disbelief. "Have you forgotten? We made a trade with you in the evil demon, and you are even an elder of the dragon subduing school." Xianxiang sent a sound transmission to Lan Lan again with a smile on his face. "Bad brother, it's really you." Lan Lan almost pounced over, but when he saw that it was the annoying Wu Jingsheng, he could not help but snort. "You've turned into that guy's appearance? It's really annoying. I really want to beat you up." Xianxiang chuckled and returned to his original appearance. When Lan Lan saw that Xianxiang was even younger and more handsome than before, she could not help but laugh. "Bad brother, I knew that when you came, you would save me." Lan Lan threw himself into Xianxiang's embrace, using her well-developed chest that did not match her outer appearance to rub against Xianxiang. "No wonder Big Sister Xianxia mentioned you from time to time. This cat demon is completely enchanted by you. Stupid girl. Say bad things about her behind her back." Be careful that I don't tell her. Xianxia pinched her cute face and laughed. By the way, how is she now? I haven't seen her in a long time. Lan Lan's face was full of worry. She was rescued by me a few days ago, and the entire city of the king knows that she is being saved, but that Wu Jingsheng is still lying to you. Xiang's words caused Lan Lan to fly into a rage. This guy is too despicable. When Lan Lan saw Xiang, his mood became much better. Bad brother. This place is heavily guarded. Do you have any way to bring me out? Of course. I have so many ways. Suddenly, Long Shui said, the real Wu Jingsheng is back. He is actually back. Xiang's expression changed. This would definitely expose his intentions. He had to quickly bring Lan Lan away. Cooperate with me a bit. And come with me. Wu Jingsheng is coming back. Xiang said anxiously, and then changed into Wu Jingsheng's appearance again. If you pretend to faint, I'll carry you out and make those old guys think that I'm going to do something to you. Xiang laughed awkwardly. Lan Lan giggled, and then immediately fell back onto Xiang's suspicion, and said tenderly, Bad brother, don't be mean to me. With that, he fainted. Xiang carried Lan Lan and opened the door, then hastily walked down the stairs. When he arrived at the door, an old man couldn't help but be surprised when he saw how anxious Lan Lan was. But his face was filled with an ambiguous smile. I will leave first. I will bring this girl back before daybreak. Xiang deliberately let out a few evil laughs, then rushed out while carrying Lan Lan. After confirming that there was no one watching, Xiang put Lan Lan down and let out a sigh of relief. Bad brother, you're so awesome. Flying Immortal School is so strict, you actually came in so easily, and took me away so easily. Lan Lan pinched Xiang's handsome face as if he was a child. One must know that Lan Lan was much older than Xiang. It was just that she wasn't very old and looked like a girl. Her stomach full of schemes would sometimes give Xiang a headache. We haven't left the Flying Immortal School yet. Just as Xiang was about to fly away with Lan Lan, he heard Wu Jingsheng's angry shout from the pagoda. We've been discovered. Lan Lan stuck out her tongue. She did not look the least bit worried. She felt that with Xiang here, no matter how big the problem was, it could be solved. Not good, they've activated the Great Formation. Their movements are really fast. Xiang looked at the sky. The entire Flying Immortal School was enveloped in an extremely strong array. This was a formation that originated from the ancient times. It was extremely difficult to resist such power, and it was not easy to leave this place. Following that, crisp and clear bell sounds rang out. Xiang sent out his divine power to scout in all four directions, and discovered that the disciples of the Flying Immortal School were flying everywhere, looking for him and Lan Lan. In just a short few moments, the entire Flying Immortal School was enveloped in an extremely tense atmosphere, because Lan Lan was saved. Flying Immortal School's leader was named Wuxia. He was a delicate and pretty teenager. His face was filled with anger. He had already known that Lan Lan was saved by an extremely skilled disguise technique. That person had changed into Wu Jingsheng's appearance, and was even able to simulate Wu Jingsheng's qi. So he entered the tower very easily to take Lan Lan away. What made Wuxia the most furious was that there was actually someone who could infiltrate the Flying Immortal School without making a sound. Although the Great Formation of the Flying Immortal School was not activated, it was still not easy to enter. Bad brother, when I'm invisible, I can also make you invisible so that they won't be able to find us. Lan Lan pulled Xiang's hand. Xiang shook his head and said, No, there is a big array here. If they can't find us, it will be hard to get us out. So I suddenly thought of a way. With that, Xiang brought Lan Lan to the flowers in the courtyard and dived towards a direction. Xiang came to a relatively remote place in the Flying Immortal School. There were a few demon beasts raised there that were specially used for eating. This guy is the new chief disciple of the Flying Immortal School. His name is Chong. He's a very annoying guy, and he used to be the one who often came to cause trouble for me with Wu Jingsheng. Lan Lan sent a sound transmission to Xiang. Right now, she wanted to rush over and give Xiang a good beating. The two of them were hiding in a field of flowers. Xiang laughed. All right, I will teach this guy a lesson tonight. Wait here. Be careful. Just as Lan Lan finished speaking, Xianxia appeared behind Chong and gently patted on Chong's shoulder, scaring him out of his wits. Little Gongzi? Why are you here? Pow! Before Chong could finish his question, Xianxia had already sent a slap towards him. When he had just released his palm, he had already released a fist which flew towards Chong's dantian. Yes! Dragon power. Chong's mouth was slanted and blood kept flowing out. Looking at the terrifying dragon power condensed on Xiang's hands, he could already guess who it was that pretended to be Wu Jingsheng. You actually crippled me. Chong's face became ugly. Xiang's strength was terrifying. The punch just now had shattered his dantian. So what? This isn't the first time I have made a move against the head disciple of a flying immortal school. Xiang laughed. He grabbed Chong and threw him towards the tower in the distance, causing the barrier around Chong to tremble. Xiang held Lan Lan's hand and rushed into the house where the spirit demons were kept, then shouted, If you dare come in, I will kill this little girl. There were already many experts standing outside, surrounding the room. Xiang did it on purpose. It was part of his plan. Even if his plan failed, he could easily get rid of these rancors. Did you come to save her? Wuxia asked. He was the leader. He had to take care of this matter properly. If Lan Lan died, the wedding ceremony would not be possible. The flying immortal school would lose face. Of course, Xiang could not tell these people that he came here specifically to save Lan Lan. Otherwise his plan would not work. Don't talk rubbish. Otherwise I will kill this little girl. When the time comes, Blue Blood Race will blame you. Humph. Xiang coldly snorted. Lan Lan coordinated with Xiang and shouted, Bastard! Don't expect me to threaten my grandfather. Even if I were to die, I won't let my grandfather pass his blue blood bead to you. This was extremely important to the Blue Blood Race. It was said that the guardian of the Blue Blood Race was sealed inside this pearl, and that he was extremely powerful, that only the patriarch could possess such a treasure. Another way of putting it was to say that the Blue Blood Pearl contained the most legitimate blue bloodline within the Blue Blood Race. As long as one refined this pearl, they would be able to obtain the most genuine blue blood. If Lan Lan was used as a threat, there was a high chance of obtaining the Blue Blood Pearl, especially in a situation like this, because once he marries into the Flying Immortal School, there was a possibility that the Flying Immortal School would use Lan Lan to threaten Blue Blood Race Zhang in the future. Sister Lan, I will place you in a place later. You have to wait patiently inside. Xiang told Lan Lan through his consciousness. Lan Lan nodded. In the room they were in, there were a few wild boars. Xiang used the soul-absorbing devil spell to erase one of the wild boar's consciousness, and then shot out a ray of golden light from between his brows, with an endless amount of god power pouring into the wild boar's head. The next scene that Lan Lan saw was something she could not forget for the rest of her life, making her feel that she was seeing things. Everything that happened in front of her was too unimaginable, making it hard for her to accept that Xiang had actually turned a pig into her. Not only did Xiang turn the pig into an identical state as Lan Lan, he also imitated Lan Lan's chi, and he could even control the pig to talk. Lan Lan opened his mouth widely, his eyes round. When Xiang saw her appearance, he used his divine power to control the pig's expression to become exactly like hers, causing Lan Lan to feel as if he was looking at a mirror. Let's just call it Lan Lan Pig. Xiang laughed and replied. You're the pig, Lan Lan said as he pinched Xiang. She was very smart and naturally understood what Xiang was trying to do. You're so cute and beautiful. I won't turn you into a pig. Don't worry. Xiang giggled, pinching her little face. I'm going to hide you, then give this Lan Lan pig to them. Lan Lan thought about how she would marry a pig. She was overjoyed. She really wanted to see what it would be like at that time. Don't worry. I will bring you to see a show when the time comes, Xianxia said as she placed Lan Lan into a room specially prepared for her in the ring. She could not leave this room, but Xianxia could communicate with her. Xianxia threw the Lan Lan pig with great force, and even controlled the pig to shout. Seeing a blue figure flying out, Wuxia jumped, and with the help of this Lan Lan, While Xianxia was also striding on the shrinking step, in a few moments, he had arrived in front of Wu Jingsheng. He condensed the intense fire innate qi, slapped onto Wu Jingsheng's chest, and then stepped on the shrinking step to leave. Wu Jingsheng screamed and everyone reacted. The person who came out from there had used an extremely strange movement skill to get close to them. He had even hit Wu Jingsheng fiercely, and then left calmly. Amongst the group of experts, it was as though there was no one around, which made everyone break out in cold sweat. If they were ambushed by such a person, they would definitely die. Wu Jingsheng's body was covered in powerful armor, and after being hit by Xianxia's palm, he had only suffered internal injuries. He spat out a few mouthfuls of blood, and he could quickly recover. That fake Lan Lan had successfully tricked this group of people. Xianxia had purposely let this fake Lan Lan ball out and scold him. But in the end, Xianxia had still locked him up in that tower. That tower was now even stricter and had even more experts protecting it. Bad big brother, what kind of place is this? Lan Lan said as he sat on a bed and looked above. This is one of my storage magic treasurettes that can pretend to be alive, Xianxia said as he inspected the structure of the entire flying immortal school. Humph, don't you often dress women up here? There's at least 2 women's fragrance in here and you're really bad, Lan Lan said in a coquettish tone. Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao had indeed lived here before, but Xianxia did not want too many people to know about this matter. Because Zhao Yiprofound and Ji Meixian were both his female slaves, they would never reveal it to the public. The fake Lan Lan could not stay inside for too long, and with his current divine power, he could only last 3 to 4 days. At that time when he used this technique, he had consumed a large amount of divine power. My dear sister, is your blue blood race's pearl really as profound as the rumors say? Xianxia was very curious about this matter. I don't know. In any case, he was quite powerful, but my grandfather said he would give it to me in the future, and I've only seen that pearl once. If I didn't touch the blue pearl that time, I would have already looked like an adult, Lan Lan said with regret. I touched that blue pearl, so I was always like this. I can't grow into a great beauty. What's wrong with that? I feel that a beauty like you is very rare. A great beauty can find a bunch of things. Furthermore, you have a place that isn't smaller than those great beauties. Xianxia laughed wickedly. Bad big brother, Lan Lan whispered in a tender voice. After 2 days, Wu Jingsheng, who was heavily slapped by Xianxia, became slightly better. Although he had spirit pills to heal his wounds, Xianxia's heaven fire was not so easy to deal with. In order to not let the distinguished guests wait, Wu Jingsheng could only bring his wounds back to the hall. The lobby of the Flying Immortal School was decorated very extravagantly. It was a golden red color and was full of joy. There were 2,000 to 3,000 people in the lobby, as well as many familiar faces of Xianxia. Some of them were the Dan King S of the Pill City, some of them were the big shots of the ancient powers. Everyone in the hall was full of smiles as they chatted with their old friends, waiting for the newcomers to arrive. Xianxia had long snuck into the great hall and hid himself in a hanging ornament. He also allowed Lan Lan to see the scene outside. It's here, Lan Lan saw Wu Jingsheng walking in with a smile on his face. Beside him was the fake Lan Lan who was wearing a hood over his head.